that we wanted to sit down and have that conversation. And we also asked them, have you all sat down with those individuals on the site to make sure that they're safe? And at that particular time, they said no, they didn't, but they were going to make sure that they talked to those individuals. And not only that, they were going to put the proper protocols and the proper cameras on the site to make sure that this would never, ever happen again. Rest assured that everyone on this construction site is safe. Right after that, a 7th noose came out. A 7th noose. Now, they shut the whole site down. They get all of the powerful individuals in law enforcement. Everyone comes out here from the top to the bottom in reference to making the site safe. So-called site safe. And then right after, they said that they put more law enforcement, more security, more cameras, more individuals for surveillance. The next day, there's another noose, and they gotta shut the site down again. This is a complete joke. Smoke and mirrors. A bunch of nonsense that has been said to us, said to the community, and communicated to the press. There's no way that this should be happening in Connecticut in 2021. There's no way. Today, the NAACP was supposed to have a conversation with the workers on the site. We'd work with Amazon to send out a communication to all of the workers on the site. We were supposed to get a trailer where we would sit down and have a conversation with the workers. We took and organized and brought people together, volunteers from the NAACP from across the state to be here today. We come to the site, they tell us that there's another noose on the site and the site is shut down again. We said we still want to talk to the workers. When we come to the site to have the conversation with the Amazon, then the Windsor police come and surround the NAACP. And I'm like, why are you surrounding us? You should be surrounding the individuals that are putting the nooses up. But it's that type of behavior, it's that type of arrogance, it's that type of attitude that they have towards black people that got us in this mess. Because they haven't taken this thing serious, they haven't taken the proper protocols to put them in place to make sure that the individuals are safe. The workers have called us and said they don't trust any of this. They don't respect any of what's going on. And they will never sit down and have a conversation with us on this site. They would trust the NAACP meeting with them off-site. He said he and others have said that it's that bad. So we'll meet with them later on today. But I'm saying today that all of the things that were promised, the reasons that we should trust these individuals, that everything was going to be put in its proper place and handled in a sufficient, efficient, and an effective manner, has not been done because the nooses have stopped. We asked them to take the nooses off the construction site and also take them off their website. There's a culture here that has to be eradicated. And shame on Amazon for handling it like this. They need to handle this in a professional, proficient, and an acceptable way for the community, because the community has no trust in this. The black community has no trust in this. 8 nooses? 8 nooses? This is absolutely ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up State Representative Bobby Gibson, who has been here in the trenches with the NAACP. We thank him for his support. We'd like to thank our town councilwoman, Nazette Burt. She's been here with us, fighting organizing and mobilizing to make sure that all the answers have been met in reference to the NAACP. I'm going to bring up State Representative Bob Gibson, and then I'll bring up our town councilwoman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm here as a state representative, but also as the vice chairman of the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus. We said that we weren't going to go anywhere, that we're going to see this through. See this through as far as no more nooses, and actually just change the culture of Amazon. So ultimately, the person who is doing this, or the culture that exists, needs some more pressure. So we're going to see, as members of the Black and Puerto Rican Caucus, along with the NAACP, what we can do to help change that culture if Amazon needs it. The last time we were here, we had members of the State Chief's Attorney's Office. We had the Connecticut State Police, as well as the FBI. And you would think that that would be enough. You would think that whatever's happening here would stop. How disrespectful and how much of a slap in the face on a day when the state NAACP was going to interview the workers who are being intimidated, who are suffering through racist work conditions, to have another noose hung as a sign of intimidation. Back in the South, back in the day, nooses were hung as a message to not get involved in politics, or to not vote, to not to show up at certain meetings. Nooses were hung. So that's what's happening today. That noose was hung as a message. Don't go into that trailer. Don't speak to the NAACP. This is the culture, and it's going to stand. That was the message from whoever hung that noose, that this is the culture. And I ask you another question. I don't have my law degree, but this site was shut down. If this site was shut down and secured, how could another noose be hung? I'm gonna leave that up to you. How was it that 2 or 3 press conferences ago, we were told cameras were hung? And last press conference, representative from Amazon said, we're getting the cameras together. Are those the words and actions of a international multi-billion-dollar corporation that's really concerned about black folks and nooses being hung and workers being intimidated? This story, and I thank the local news channels who are here today. I won't name them all, and I thank you guys who are here. You've been here with us from the beginning. Thank you for the press coverage. But this story has made national news, international news. It was on CNN. Sorry, local channels, for mentioning them. I say that to say this. We're not going anywhere. And whoever is doing this, or whoever the team of people who are doing this, is going to stop. It's going to stop until we find out who's doing it. And again, the questions that I asked you, you had a closed site. How were those nooses hung? We were promised cameras. Where are those cameras? You had the state chief's attorney's office, state police, FBI involved. How is this happening again? And I question, are we going to be here again next week? Thank you. Question.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nishette Blackburk, Windsor Town Councilwoman.
Don Trinks, Mayor.
And so we are here again, unfortunately. And as our state president for the NAACP has shared, as well as State Rep Gibson, we're not going anywhere. I stood here almost a month ago, and we talked about these nooses. And Amazon is a ginormous, if that's even a word, company. Yesterday, they bought MGM for $3.5 billion. Here's a company, Mr. Mayor, that came to us, and small little Windsor gave them a tax abatement So now we are asking Amazon to step up and get your national presence here to our small town. You have disrupted our quality of life by the actions that are happening here on this site. A few weeks ago, the statement was made that this is not Windsor. Well, Amazon, you have made it Windsor, and we need you to respond. We are grateful for the regional representation, but we want your national outfit present. If we have to come here again, the expectation is that we are going to see Mr. Carney, your Senior Vice President of Global Affairs. He reports to Mr. Bezos. We want to see your national outfit here. You have taken our quality of life. I won't even get started with the people that live behind this facility that have had to endure blasting and building. And now, this level of intimidation here in my town, it's unacceptable, it's disgusting. I'm just aghast that we are here again. Mr. President, State President, on Saturday will be a month since we started this. And I've stood right here time and time again and I've said we are going to apply the pressure. So I'm announcing it. Where's my friend, Mr. Weiner, Mr. Eric Weiner? He's around here somewhere. Yes. We are calling it our pressure campaign. We want you to email national outfit at Amazon until they get this right. Keep the site shut down because you're impacting our quality of life. Figure it out before you reopen it again. Figure it out, allow the NAACP to talk to the workers. We are applying pressure. Yes, it's the Amazon pressurization campaign until our quality of life here in the small town of Windsor comes back to normal. We're holding you accountable. Holding you accountable. Many of you know I rely on the good book. So the good book says 1 can chase 1,000, but 2, 3, 4, we're about 20 up here, can put things to flight. That's right. Amazon, welcome to the pressurization from the NAACP, the town of Windsor, our neighbors in surrounding towns. Change the culture, keep it shut down until you bring us change. Mr. Mayor.
Good job.
I try to make it a point never to follow Nouchette because she's just so good and so passionate about what she believes. I was hoping to take a moment today to just get the word out, because this has become international news, that this is not Windsor. The town of Windsor has worked very hard over the last many years to support our belief in diversity, equality, equity. And for those of you that say, or email me from wherever you're from and say, hey, what's happening in Windsor? This is an island in the middle of it. This is a construction job site. This is not what the town of Windsor feels. This is not one of the town of Windsor's beliefs or ideals. We are a wonderful community. And for the residents of town, we're going to do everything we can to find out who these knuckleheads are that are doing this, because this way everybody could be more at ease. But I got to tell you, if you take a poll of the elected officials here and the folks standing back here, we're PO'd. That's the best way to describe it. We're frustrated beyond words. And I don't like the image that's being portrayed out there that Windsor is a racist community. We have a construction site here that has signs of hatred and racism, and we're going to keep the pressure on, exactly as Councilor Nouchette said, until these perpetrators are brought to justice. And this, whatever it takes. And to Representative Gibson's point, we're going to do everything we can to look into how we can apply the most amount of pressure on everybody here, the contractor, project development, and the ultimate tenant, Amazon. Put this nonsense away, be done with it, build it, create jobs, be part of the community, but this has got to stop. And yeah, if we're here one more time, I don't even know what I'm capable of. So thank you all.
Thanks,
sir.
So if you guys have any questions?
Scott, do you think it was a coincidence that this 8th noose was found today when you were supposed to come talk to the
I do not think it's a coincidence. I think that it's another method of intimidation. I think that there's individuals on this construction site that did not want the NAACP to talk to the workers. I believe that with all my heart.
Are there any updates on the investigation with sending the ropes?
We have received not one update. We have not received not one update. We were told before the cameras were going to go up. Now they're saying that they're still working on putting the cameras up. I don't know what the answer is. You all hopefully could ask the same questions and get an answer, but we have not gotten a clear answer on any of the proper protocols that they've put in place on this site.
You were told today that the cameras still are not up.
We were told today that they had to add more cameras. That's what, I don't know if they put up 1 camera, 20 cameras, 30 cameras, but from what we're told, I don't know exactly the measurements here, but it's like 15 to 20 football fields. This is a huge construction site. But Amazon is one of the actually probably the largest company in the world, if not, the top 3 or whatever. But one thing that I do know is that they have one of the top security outfits in the world. And if they can monitor their trucks all over the world, and they can monitor their trucks, if there was 7 trucks missing or 8 trucks missing, they would make sure that they found those trucks and found their workers if someone were to kidnap individuals that were on those trucks. So those type of measures that they would take to resolve those particular criminal situations, they need to handle these hate crimes on their construction site.
You talk to workers on the phone or off-site. What are they telling you? We met Mr. Best, and he had a pretty straight-up answer.
Absolutely.
To what's
And
going on.
everyone that we've talked to so far pretty much is telling us the same type of story, that the situations that are behind these gates are horrific, traumatic, and it's very rough to work on this particular site. They said all they want to do is come to work and go back safe to their families. And every individual should have that opportunity to go to work and get home safe to their families. But to have noose 1, noose 2, noose 3, noose 4, noose 5, noose 6, noose 7, and now noose 8 is absolutely ludicrous.
Were they specific about how tough it is on the site, or I don't know if you want to get into it?
Well, I don't want to speak for them. Hopefully I'm going to have some of those individuals speak before you. And I'm working on that, as we had one individual come up and speak already.
So they are saying that they don't feel safe working here. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. No one feels safe in an environment like that. And they're very scared to come back to work. And they were looking forward to getting off the site today. And they said that they know certain individuals, the way that they look at them, the way that they treat them on the site makes them very, very comfortable to work on the site.
What's the message you feel is coming from Amazon?
I don't think that it's adequate. I don't think that they're handling it in the way that they should handle it. I think that they should put a lot more resources to handle this particular situation. I think that they should be here having a conversation with the press and with the community. They haven't spent time with the community. It's kind of like ride-bys where they have a little conversation, but they have not taken care of this situation that it should have been handled. And shame on them. They could have handled this a whole lot better. And I think that they thought it was a fluke in the beginning, but now they know that it's very serious. And that, we've seen the situation in Washington, D.C. All right, these individuals came from somewhere. And people are back in their communities and going to different communities and traveling all across this country. Racism is running rampant throughout America. And what you saw in Washington is the same thing that we're seeing here on Amazon's construction site. It's not going away. We have to deal with it. Racism is alive and well. And we have to deal with it. We need to meet it, hit it head on, and deal with it and get rid of it. And what we're doing here is dealing with it in a lackluster manner, and that's why we're getting lackluster results.
What's your next step?
We're going to be talking to the workers. They're not going to stop us from talking to the workers. And then we're going to come back and report exactly what's going on the site, and let's really work on it. Let's work with the leadership, let's work with the town, and let's sit down and let's really deal with the issues instead of playing games with it and trying to sweep it under the rug as if it's not really happening. This is real. And we're not going to wait till they start burning cross or striving to put people's necks in those nooses.
Have you guys heard from the construction contractors today at all?
from what we're told, it was the construction company that told the police to come surround us and get us off the site. So I don't trust the construction company at all. They said R.A. Anderson sent them over there to tell us to get off the site. We came there to talk to the people.
Tell us what happened, because I'm unclear what happened earlier today. You came on to talk to the workers and they said the police said you can't?
We came on the site. We were told that there was a noose on the site and that they were shutting down the site. I said, I want to talk to you all directly so you can explain exactly to us, because we were supposed to sit down and have a conversation with the workers. We've been waiting for a month to sit down with the workers. You all were here at the first press conference when we asked and put the request out to sit down with the workers. Everyone wanted to sweep it under the rug, but I said, listen, we can't move on until we talk to the workers. So today was the day we were supposed to sit down and talk to the workers. We put notices out, we put communications out, we put emails out to let all the workers know. We had phone calls. The individuals were looking forward to talking to us. And then we found out that they were shutting down the site and they would no longer let the NAACP use the trailer to have the conversation with the workers. So I said, listen, I will meet you at the site so we can have a conversation face to face, because I don't think that this is acceptable. We met right over at the gate over there. It was about 4 or 5 of us, and we waited patiently. The individual from Amazon said he ran to go get some lunch and he'd be right back. As we're sitting there, the officers come up to us and said, listen, who are you? I said, I'm Mr. Esdale. He said, you're Mr. Esdale? Yes, you're Mr. Esdale. He said, you got to get off the site now. And I said, what are you talking about? I said, we're here to talk to Amazon. He said, Amazon told us to get you off the site. I said, I'm talking to Amazon right now. The head, Brad Griggs, was standing right there. I said, Brad, now do you see exactly how black people are treated? They're surrounding us as if we're criminals coming here to do exactly what we worked together to plan to sit down and talk to the workers, which we requested a month ago. So I called the chief and told the chief that I will be filing a complaint about how the officers treated us here in Windsor, because it's unacceptable. We came here to assist and help. That's all we came here to do, and make sure that people could come to work and go home and be protected and be safe. And every individual should be able to go to work and go home safe. And if there is an issue or a problem, communicate it with us. We'll sit down and talk to the leadership and make sure that all those pieces are in place to make sure that you can go work and go home and be safe. But it seems that the individuals that are supposed to be making everybody safe wouldn't even let the NAACP be safe on the site.
So nobody from Amazon came to ask you to leave before they called police?
So then it was clear that Amazon didn't tell us to get off the site. Then they came back and said, R.C. Anderson, is it?
Yeah.
They said that R.C. Anderson told them to get us off the site. So these are supposed to be the individuals we're working with together. They're the ones that are putting up money to make sure, well, they're saying that they're putting up money. If they don't catch anybody, there's no loss of money, right? So I don't know if that's smoke and mirrors also. I'll put up $1 million, right? But if nobody gets caught, I don't lose no money.
How many workers were planning on meeting with you guys today? Do you have a number on that?
Oh no, we don't know exactly the number. We didn't get an opportunity to get into the trailer.
Mayor, we don't see anyone from the police department here. Is there any update or comment you can give on behalf of your police department?
I can tell you right now, the chief is working, coordinating with all of our partners in law enforcement. Again, we've got the state police, attorney general's office, we've got the FBI. So the chief is there. The chief has given us a statement to us that he would entertain any conversation or questions from the media. But again, he's trying to coordinate multiple agencies. I mean, the Windsor police are here. We have 5 officers here every day. We've got 2 officers here when the job gets shut down. I mean, they're doing their best. I apologize.
Obviously, it's not enough, man.
Right.
Because the nooses keep coming up.
Right. And I appreciate that. I do. You know. So, chief but he did. We have numbers for you guys to contact him individually, and he said he would be more than happy to talk to you. But again, he's in the middle of multi-agency coordination.
So does that mean that there's security personnel here in addition to security cameras 24/7?
There are 5 officers on site. Now remember, there's over 800,000 square feet per floor. of that building. So we've got 5 officers that the town of Windsor is now paying for. It's being paid for by here. We've got their security people in addition to whatever cameras are up. And we don't know if this last incident appears on a camera yet. They're still investigating that part of it. But yeah, there are officers on site here 24/7.
Counselor, you talked about, wanting to make sure that Amazon remains shut down until this got resolved. From what we're hearing from workers, we're hearing that they may be coming back to work tomorrow. Just want to get your reaction to that.
My reaction is that clearly, as our state NAACP president has shared, workers are afraid. They're fearful. So why would we open a site where the employees are afraid? So we just had another press conference. Who's to say? Is there going to be another news tomorrow to instill additional fear and intimidation? So that's why I would humbly suggest leave this site shut down, let the FBI and the police do what they need to do. We keep hearing about, oh, there are leads, there's this, there's that. Show us, put your money where your mouth is, and if the FBI needs to be standing here to give an update, if we need to get a brief every half hour, every day until this is resolved, leave it shut down. It's impacting Windsor. On our town blogs, it's become very divisive. It is a problem. It's impacting us. So Amazon can take it lightly because they aren't living it with us. They aren't living it with us. But as a woman of color, it instills something totally different, that people would be that emboldened. The 8th news, clearly they must want a 9th. Leave it shut down until you figure it out and provide concrete, real answers. And as Mr. State President shared, not smoking mirrors and a sham. Thank you.
How is this, you talked about it being divisive on some of the local blogs. In what way? What are some of the people saying that would contradict what's being said here?
Because many people don't understand our history. A noose, people's heads were put in those and hung from trees, hung from different places. So while people may think that someone's doing this just for giggles and ha-has, no, it's real history that impacts. So I understand, unless you've walked a mile in my shoes as a woman of color, as a man of color, you may never get it, right? And I'm not trying to bash anyone, but people really don't understand the gravity of the statement of a noose. So that's what I mean by it being divisive. So we are trying to educate, but in real time, this is happening. And so people, and I understand where they're coming from, if this were so serious, why the lack of response? Why the lack of urgency? So please understand, not to be mean or to sound angry, but you have to understand that it evokes a different response, especially from the Black community. And while we have many allies and partners in the work, it's a divisive tool. Figure it out, Amazon. Figure it out, because it's causing grave discord in this town. Thank you.
Just to confirm, the site was open on Monday and Tuesday.
Yes. They reopened the site on Monday. And we were told that all of the proper protocols were put in place, and they felt that everything was adequate for individuals to come back on the site and be safe.
And when did construction begin here? You know?
I don't know the exact date. The mayor may know that.
October-ish, 20.
When's it supposed to be finished by? 21.
Any other questions? If not, we'll close out. Thank you.